Asterisk, asterisk. The author of your own story. When pain becomes the pen, you write with asterisk, asterisk. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, where we create sacred space for high achieving Black women to unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I had the profound honor of sitting down with Dr. Universe Konadu, a visionary CEO, therapeutic arts practitioner, and transformational leader who is literally rewriting the narrative for Black women across this country. Dr. Universe isn't just talking about healing, she's building entire ecosystems where Black women turn their deepest pain into purpose driven businesses, leadership legacies, and generational impact. Her work has touched hundreds of lives, creating pathways where there were none, building bridges from trauma to triumph, and proving that our stories, no matter how broken they feel, can become the blueprints for something extraordinary. Her message is simple but seismic. Everyone has a story. We all have a story. We can either allow the experiences of our lives to be the demise of us or the design of us. And today I'm sharing the insights from our conversation because what Dr. Universe shared is exactly what we all need to hear right now. Let me start with this. Your pain has purpose, but only if you choose to transform it. That's what Dr. Universe told me. And honestly, it hit different because how many of us have been sitting in our pain, marinating in it, thinking that survival mode is just the mode? We've been taught to cope, to shrink, to keep it together, to wear the cape even when it's choking us. But Dr. Universe is calling us to something radically different. She's calling us to reimagine, rebuild, and rise. Not from a place of hustle, but from a place of healing. Not from a place of proving, but from a place of purpose. Here's what she said that stopped me in my tracks. Healing isn't staying stuck in what happened to you, it's reclaiming authorship of your life. Authorship, that word alone is a whole sermon because so many of us, especially Black women, have been living out scripts written by trauma, by family expectations, by systems that never saw us fully. We've been extras in our own stories. But Dr. Universe is handing us the pen and saying, you are still the author. Your story isn't over. You get to write what comes next. And she didn't just say it, she's lived it. About 15 years ago, Dr. Universe left Dallas, Texas with just $22 in her pocket, a vision in her heart, and a dream waiting to be realized. She moved to New York City without a plan, without family, and without knowing exactly what she was walking into, only that she was being led. She followed her God self, trusted her intuition, and moved in obedience, knowing that obedience is greater than sacrifice. She didn't have all the answers, but she had faith. And that faith became the foundation for everything she's built today. That's the kind of courage we're talking about. That's the kind of softness that looks like strength because it is. Dr. Universe shared three anchors with me, and I want you to hold these close. First, your pain is raw material for purpose. Transform it through healing as the foundation, not the destination, to build leadership and legacies. Second, reclaim authorship. Don't shrink or survive. Reimagine and rise using expression like the arts to reframe your story. And third, no permission needed. Trust your intuition, move with vision, and create pathways for yourself and others. Now, let me tell you how this plays out in real life because Dr. Universe didn't just give me theory, she gave me proof. She walked me through three stories from her arts based therapeutic programs, and each one is a masterclass in turning pain into power. Meet Aisha, 32 years old, Black entrepreneur from Atlanta. Aisha came to Dr. Universe's program after childhood. Trauma derailed her corporate career. She had survived domestic abuse, battled imposter syndrome, and was struggling to launch her wellness brand amid financial instability. Raised in a single parent home, Aisha had learned to cope by shrinking, by making herself small, by staying quiet. But through arts based therapy, she processed the buried pain, reframed her story as leadership fuel, and built business skills on that healing foundation. And here's what happened: Aisha, they launched a thriving self care line for Black women. She sold out her first product line in weeks, secured retail partnerships, and scaled to six figures. But it didn't stop there. She started hosting community workshops, shifting how Black women view trauma as entrepreneurial fuel. Aisha didn't just heal, she built a legacy. Then there's Jasmine, 28 years old, Black creative from Chicago. Jasmine entered Dr. Universe's program after losing her mother and experiencing career burnout. She was drowning in grief fueled depression, paralyzed by fear of failure, with no clear path from survival to leadership. The corporate grind had masked her unhealed wounds for years. But through therapeutic art sessions, Jasmine found release in reframing. She layered that healing with entrepreneurship training and authored her own coaching business. Today, Jasmine runs a trauma informed coaching firm serving over 100 women. She published her story in a bestseller, spoke at national conferences, and built a waitlist legacy. She created ripple effects in Black professional networks, normalizing healing as a leadership superpower. Jasmine didn't just survive grief, she turned it into a movement. And finally, meet Tiana, 35 years old, Black leader from Houston. Tiana sought help after workplace betrayal and health trauma left her with chronic anxiety, stalled promotions, and cycles of coping without growth. Through holistic arts expression, she learned to trust her intuition again and transitioned to purpose driven consulting. Tiana grew her firm to serve Fortune 500 clients on diversity, equity, inclusion, and resilience. She became a keynote TEDx speaker, mentored over 50 women into C suites, and generated seven figure revenue. Tiana's story echoed Dr. Universe's own leap of faith, leaving stability with nothing but belief, mirroring that $22 move to New York City. Tiana didn't just heal from betrayal, she redefined corporate healing for Black women and fostered industry wide pathways. These aren't fairy tales. These are real women who chose to stop surviving and start authoring. And here's the thing: every single one of them started exactly where you might be right now: stuck, exhausted, carrying too much, wondering if there's more. And the answer Dr. Universe gave me, the answer I'm giving you today is yes, there is more. But you have to choose it. Dr. Universe told me something that I want you to hear in your spirit. So many of us, especially Black women, are taught to shrink, survive, cope, but we're called to reimagine, rebuild, and rise. The arts showed her healing through expression, giving language to the buried, processing, releasing, reframing. That evolved into her therapeutic arts based programs, helping girls and women heal holistically, then build leadership, entrepreneurship, ownership. She's guided women to turn pain into purpose driven businesses, careers, legacies. And as CEO, her vision is to inspire freedom, to be fully expressive, to walk boldly in the power of our stories, and to be courageous enough to write new ones. Now, here's where the soft girl era piece comes in, because this isn't about grinding harder. This isn't about adding more to your plate. This is about releasing the cape. This is about redefining strength. This is about embracing softness as the radical act of self love that it is. Dr. Universe is teaching us that healing is the foundation, not the destination. You don't build a legacy on burnout. You build it on wholeness. You build it on rest. You build it on the courage to say no without guilt, to set boundaries without apology, and to rest without explanation. I asked Dr. Universe what she wants listeners to do differently after hearing this. And her challenge was so simple, so powerful. This week, pick one buried story. Use art, journal, paint, dance to give it language. Reframe it as your first brick in purpose. Then take one bold step, pitch that idea, launch that side hustle. Author actively. No more waiting, because here's the truth: you don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need $22,000. Dr. Universe had $22 and a God sized vision, and she built an empire of healing, leadership, and legacy. What you need is the willingness to trust your intuition, to move with vision, and to create pathways for yourself and others. I also asked Dr. Universe how she wants our Soft Girl Era community to feel during and after this conversation. And she said, seen, stirred, and sovereign. Seen in your shared stories, stirred to rise beyond survival, sovereign as the author of what's next, hopeful, courageous, ready. And that's exactly what I want for you too. So here's what I need you to understand: your story isn't over. You are still the author. The experiences of your life, the trauma, the grief, the betrayal, the exhaustion, they don't have to be your demise. They can be your design, but only if you choose to transform them. Only if you choose healing as your foundation. Only if you choose to walk boldly in the power of your story and be courageous enough to write a new one. Dr. Universe is out here creating pathways, building programs, and proving that Black women can turn pain into purpose driven success. Aisha, Jasmine, and Tiana are living proof. And you can be too, not because you have to, but because you deserve to. Because your soft girl era isn't about being weak, it's about being whole, it's about being free. It's about being fully, unapologetically, powerfully you. So I'm going to leave you with this. What story are you still carrying that no longer serves you? What narrative have you been rehearsing in your mind that keeps you small, keeps you stuck, keeps you silent? And more importantly, Wayne, what story are you ready to write instead? Because the pen is in your hand, the page is blank. The next chapter is yours to author. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You just need to start. Start with one word, one sentence, one decision, one boundary, one act of courage, one moment of softness. Start with the belief that your pain was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to design you. Start with the understanding that healing is not a luxury, it's a requirement for the life you're being called to live. Start with the truth that you are not too broken, too tired, too late, or too far gone. You are exactly where you need to be to begin again. Dr. Universe started with $22 and a dream. Aisha started with buried pain and a vision. Jasmine started with grief and a calling. Tiana started with betrayal and a belief. And every single one of them chose to pick up the pen and write a new story. So here's my challenge to you this week. I want you to do what Dr. Universe asked. Pick one buried story, give it language, reframe it, and then take one bold step. Not tomorrow, not next month, not when you feel ready, this week, because the world is waiting for the story only you can write, the business only you can build, the legacy only you can leave, the healing only you can model. And every day you wait is a day that story stays unwritten. So write it with your whole heart, write it with your scars, write it with your softness, write it with your strength, write it knowing that the pen has always been in your hand and the power has always been yours. Your story isn't over. You are still the author. Now go write something beautiful.